Hello, brothers and sisters. This is Sabata with the EQUATORIA Advocacy Foundation. I'm the Director for Resource Mobilization. Today, I would like to discuss with you a very important issue here. And it's a misconstrued meaning or concept of nationalism. And that is hurting us, we the Equatorians. Let me first begin by explaining what the misconstrued concept of nationalism is. There is this notion that the country has been fought by we the South Sudanese and we are one nation. So now the country has been fought out, and so the land mass of South Sudan belongs to all of us, and so all of us are entitled to live freely wherever we want without any checks here and there. And this is interpreted as nationalism. No, brothers and sisters, this is not nationalism. What I've noticed is some people around the corner who would want to come and pretty much drive Equatorians out of their lands, come around and settle with their cattle and bringing along values that are not acceptable amongst the people of Equatoria, and they try to justify their presence or their settlement in the territories of Equatoria by saying, Yahe, the country has been fought and the landmass now belongs to everybody. And that gets misconstrued as nationalism. Those who are saying no, that's not the case, are not nationalists. Brothers and sisters, if you are an Equatorian out there and somebody wants to convince you that this is nationalism, rebuttal it, reject it, and clarify to that person that that is not nationalism. And let me explain clearly what nationalism is. Given right now we do not have properly set educational system to clarify these things to people in South Sudan, so that even those who are coming to occupy some of the territories in South Sudan, in equatorial area, would realize that what they are doing, they are not implementing, or they are not exercising what is called nationalism. Nationalism is when you are basically advancing the programs or the strategic plan that promotes national agenda. That is nationalism. If you are an individual whose political stances or whose political activities pretty much advances what is called national agenda, then you are a nationalist. And for that reason, you will have to identify what is called national agenda correctly. You have to identify the national agenda correctly, identify also the strategic plans that are laid or the programs that are put to basically get the national agenda accomplished. You have to understand these things clearly. And as you work towards that, you are focused in that, and all your political activities are designed to promote that, then you are a nationalist. It has something to do with promoting national agenda. But the idea that anybody can go and just settle anywhere, and whoever comes and questions you is not a nationalist, is a fallacy. That is not true, and at least fellow Equatorians do not get sold to that idea. Anybody who comes and says, hey, if you are criticizing that person for coming here and bringing some cattle and staging the cattle in areas where cattle are not even supposed to be staged, and when you talk about it, you are not a nationalist. Correct that person's understanding on what nationalism is. This is that. Now, one people, fellow brothers and sisters, fellow Equatorians, we are not one people. I repeat, we are not one people. Yes, we are all South Sudanese nationals, but remember, we are a very diverse nation. What do I mean when I say we are a very diverse nation? The nation of South Sudan comprises of many tribes put together, and each tribe exercises what is called a distinct cultural values from the other tribe, and that makes us very diverse. And here is a situation where we are all now demarcated in what is called a constituent of South Sudan. That actually makes us very diverse. And are we one? Let me walk slowly by slowly to tell you that we are not one, so that when we speak, we should be factually correct on what we are talking about. We are not one because in order to be one, we need what is called shared cultural values at a national level. That will make us one. Each tribe distinctly, you can talk about oneness within the parameters of those tribes, because each tribe, those individuals share what is called cultural values. But once you put these tribes together to form this nation of South Sudan, they become very diverse. So there is no oneness here. Even at a national level, at the level of South Sudan, we are not even one. Why? Because the South Sudan government, that is the state, has not identified what is called universal values by which we, the people of South Sudan, can all live by and protect those values in our constitution. In this way, if that had happened, then even though all those communities do practice various or distinct cultural values, but the fact that the state, the country, has enshrined certain values in their constitution to be imposed onto the nationals, then that will make us one, even though we will be having those distinct cultural values. So basically that will be what is called freedom or liberty in manifestation. Let me try to explain. For example, here in the United States of America, when you look at what is called the population of the United States of America, it is comprising of people who are basically indigenous. Those are the Indians. And then you have people who have actually migrated from East and Western Europe. Then you have people who have migrated from Asia, people who have migrated from Africa, people who have migrated from Mexico, people who have migrated from different parts of the world are here, and they constitute what is called the population of what is called the United States of America. And yet these these people, some of them still hold to what is called traditional values that they have had, especially the Africans, the Mexicans, all right? They still hold to those cultural values that they have. But as they live here, they are subjected under what is called the American values. The values that the Americans live by are that they are individualists, and they speak their minds freely. Their lives are protected under some civil liberties, you see, and each and every individual enjoys those kind of values because those are what is called national values of the country. So even if you happen to be originally an African or originally a Mexican or originally an Asian, and you still practice your cultural values, so long as your cultural values do not overlap or do not intervene or interfere with the flow of those values, then you're okay. Nobody will stop you from exercising your cultural values here in the United States of America, because that will be manifestation of liberty or freedom, so long as it's not infringing what is called the national values of this country. But in South Sudan, we do not have national values knitted or enshrined in our constitution. We don't have that. So basically what we are having in South Sudan is we have all those bunch of tribes, all right, kind of put together, and they are also demarcated in what is called regions. Like for example, the tribes of the Equatoria are demarcated in the Equatoria region. The tribes of the people of Bahar al-Ghazal region are also demarcated there, and the tribes of the people of the Upper Nile are also demarcated there. And all of those people are pretty much exercising their cultural values, all right? And there is no protected cultural value that is considered to be something that will be implemented to all of them uniformly. And there is also no language. Okay, that's also part of the attributes that makes us not having shared values. There is also no common language that we can take and say this defines our identity. All right, so you can imagine we are in that kind of a situation, and for that matter, we don't qualify to say we are one people. All right, we are diverse nation. We are diverse nation. We are diversified people. All right, even though we are nationals of the same country. All right, so and this is important, fellow Equatorians, because if we are down the road going to be protecting the ideas that we should administratively make sure that we administer ourselves in distinctly from people of the Upper Nile and people of the Bahar al-Ghazal, and of course that does not negate the fact that everybody can come and live in the territories of the Equatoria if they so choose, but to live under the administration that will be set forth by the people of Equatoria. If we are going to continue to uphold to those ideas, then we will have to articulate our differences, our distinct values very clearly, because those kind of reasons are the ones that will eventually justify the importance of having distinct administrative settings. And I'm talking about federalism here when I'm talking about distinct administrative settings. All right. Otherwise, the idea that we are just one people and oh, the country has been fought and now the landmass belongs to all of us. No. Those ideas are not true at all. And those ideas seem to be now creeping and are getting used to justify the occupation that is happening within the equatorial area. And it's very important for you, the Equatorians, to be able to rebuttal those ideas, because those are the very ideas that are used as excuses to justify occupying your territories. And the dangers with that is, given right now we do not have a properly set state that protects what is called rights of people in South Sudan, then you would probably suffer insecurity from the people who are coming in with their cattle in your territories, and eventually as they hit you so much with insecurity, you would decide to desert your areas and find peace somewhere, maybe inside the territory of Uganda. And for that reason, brothers and sisters, let us not misconstrue those concepts and misunderstand them, and later on these concepts get used by others to come and just occupy our spaces here. Those kind of concepts are important to straighten. If you are an Equatorian out there who has so much love for your country, and you're so devoted to your country, that also does not make you a nationalist. That does not make you a nationalist. That feelings of love and devotion actually makes you a patriot, not a nationalist. And it's good to be patriot of your country, and it's also good to be an educated patriot. If you are a less educated patriot in your country, then you are most likely then to create or to give an avenue of creation of what is called a fascist form of government happening in your or amongst your society. Why? Because these feelings of devotion to the state, love, eventually translates into loyalty, and the fact that there is that less education in it will eventually not make you hold the state accountable to certain actions. For example, if the state kind of exploits your rights, if the state now abuses your rights. For example, when the state armies go and launch fights in some territories, for example in what used to be called the Lanya County, the former Lanya County, or what's happening right now in Lokiliri, or what is happening right now in Lobonok. When the state armies go there and displace citizens and puts citizens under the trees to sleep there, basically what they are doing is the state actually right now has deprived this citizen from what is called human rights. And when your state does that, another person who is illiterate and claims patriotism will not hold the state in contempt and say the state has done a wrong thing. Any state will continue to support the state and say, well, this is a government. Government is always right. Now, once we get into that kind of mentality, then eventually we will give leeway for a government to easily become fascist in nature. The government will basically not respect people's rights. The same way the government has done to the people of Equatoria today. The same way the government has done to the people of Faratit in 2012. The same way the government has done to the people of Nuer in 2013. You see, consistently abusing people's human rights, because when a government engages in eliminating somebody else's life without any reason or without clear reason, then that government has already crossing into what is called infringing human rights of people, because one of the human rights provision that are given, one of the human rights provision that's given to human beings is the right to life. The right to life is the right to be alive as you were produced, as you were created by God and born by your parents. You have the right to remain alive. Not even a government is supposed to take your life out. You're supposed to be alive until your time comes up. Then God knows how your life will eventually, the spirit will depart from you that keeps you alive. So also, patriotism is good, but it has to be preceded by knowledge, education, or else with too much patriotism without education, it will be easy to foster, or it will be easy to give a leeway for a form of fascist government to develop. These are just some concepts that I would like to share with you, fellow Equatorians. This is pretty much more of a civil education session. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope it has benefited somebody out there who might have not understood the concepts clearly. And until we come again for another session of civil rights education or any other discussion, I would like to tell you, take care of yourself and stay safe from COVID-19, and take care. Thank you.